Now it's on. Okay.
Okay, no, I don't see it yet. Let's wait for a minute. Yes. All right, I see you now. Well, it just, yes, I see you. Okay, good. All right, Christina. How are you doing Sunday morning?
Sunday morning, I'm doing good because I'm talking to you. Sounds great.
Okay. All right.
And I already went swimming, so feels good.
All right. Okay. So, topics to talk about this week. I want to talk about and understand this thing about listening to someone while acknowledging someone and the impact it has on that person when we listen that way.
Oh, what a question. Um, um, for me, it had a transformative effect, I must say. So, do you want me to tell you my experience?
Yeah. For that, I want to see, this is such a thing for me. Before I knew you, I didn't even know the potency, the power it can have. When you talk to someone and say, like this week, one of friends, someone posted a Facebook message, suicide prevention, something about suicide. And, want to see if someone can listen to him, right? Someone can talk, someone can just get their feelings. And someone's responded to it, how would that help? Even if you listen to someone, that won't solve the problem that the person is handling. So how would it help?
Okay, so let me give you a background, and because this is very profound, and just to talk about the suicide, I was trained once in my job as a psychologist for a suicide hotline. And one of the first thing they told us is don't try to save the person. Just listen to the person. And they insisted on that. And if you were too compassionate and wanted to save the person, they would not let you be on the hotline. So that's to tell you, right? So let me just give you an overall background, and then we can talk about either my experience and what happened to me as I was listened to and as I listened to others. So basically, again, we have some needs. We have some basic needs as human. One of them is to be seen, to be totally seen, accepted. We need to be heard and understood. We need to be appreciated. We need to be supported. And we need to be, and we know ourselves with the other. How do we know who we are? Is through a relationship with another. Is that making sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, go ahead. Maybe I'll get to the questions later. Okay.
So we need to be seen, we need to be heard, and who is the original person that's going to do that for us? Our parents or our caretakers. Hmm?
Right.
So the child may be crawling or running and he does something wrong, right? So the parent says, bad boy. Why did you do that? That's not appropriate. This is a bad boy, right? Now, how does the boy feel?
Yeah, the boy feels wife feels that this is not the right thing to do, right?
Well, he also feels he's not good. Huh?
Right.
Because the boy depends on the parents, so his self-esteem is being formulated on the relationship with the other, right? Now suppose there is another. I mean, there is another. Suppose this parent is enlightened and knows how to listen, and sees that the boy, I don't know, push a glass of water from the table, right? Huh? And the parent says, "Wow, you know, don't worry. All of us make mistakes. I wonder what happened. Were you looking at the thing or that? We'll clean up the table together." What happens to that boy?
Feels the support.
Well, he feels seen, right?
Yeah.
He's not a bad person. He made a mistake. We can correct the mistake. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So from the see, this is the need to be seen is ingrained in us, and we need to be heard and we need to be supported. So depending on how much we had that in childhood, we'll be able, to have a sense of empowerment, self-esteem. We won't need so much the approval of others in our life, because we've been approved already from the beginning and we feel confident. So making a mistake is not I am bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so if this is done in childhood, then this force of trying to get approval, and this force is not so much in adulthood.
Well, then depends on and then you form a script from these early years in the environment. Like in my house, I was never heard. I mean, my mom was either too busy and whatever, but we were 5 brothers and sisters, and I don't remember being asked, "How are you?" Huh?
Okay.
Does that make sense? So who am I? I don't know. So I look for who I am in other people in the world. And of course, people will tell you all kinds of things. You are wonderful or you are horrible, depending on who you meet. And eventually has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Just wondering, is the live on? Are we on live right now?
Are we live? It says live on the. Oh, hold on. It says 2. How do I know if we're live?
Do you see the?
It says live on the.
All right.
On
Notification on Facebook, so I don't know. Yeah, no, it's right. It's live. We are good.
we're live.
Yes.
Okay,
Live, yep.
so we're good. All right,
Yes.
sounds good. I feel
Yeah.
like a technical whiz right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. So your childhood plays such an important role that you are listened to in your childhood, and then you don't have this need in your adulthood.
Well, so imagine even as a child how important is this thing about listening, meaning not just listen, but meaning listen without judgment. Listen with curiosity. Gee, what happened to this child that, by mistake pushed the water out of the table or, tipped the glass?
Right.
So there is these well, the first listening is no listening. It's just reacting with our own judgment. Hmm? We forgot how to listen there. It's a reaction. So in order to listen, we have to take a pause. You observe something, and then there is curiosity and empathy to move toward that person and say, and realize that person is not a bad person, no matter what they did. But I want to find out what's going on and support that person to, especially if it's your child or if it's not, to support that person and reflect what this person is doing. So one is a response and one is a reflection. There is a listening that's reflecting like a mirror the other person, a good mirror.
So even when you talk to, you're saying, let's say for example someone is too distressed, and you talk to that person. At that time also you just keep reflecting and not do anything about his situation?
You don't need, well, you're doing amazing stuff just by listening, just by being there and reflecting how stressed that person is. Imagine if you could say to that person, and I am lucky enough to have a couple of teachers who have done this for me for the past, many teachers before. But if it hadn't been for these people totally listening to me, I wouldn't be where I am now, right? But if you listen to somebody who's stressed out and you say, I am here for you, what is it that, how you feeling? Oh, I'm feeling terrible. Oh, you're feeling terrible. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember. Right.
Tell me more. How terrible is it? And then you start, you kind of be there, fully attentive to that person without judging, without giving advice, without trying to fix the problem.
Without giving advice. So, not even telling him or her, something that will make the situation better.
No, the best, because when you tell that another person how to make it better without the person asking you, right? But is it better to tell the person, or is it better to find the person find their own answer?
Yeah, right.
So one thing you could do is ask the person again, what is it that you need? And what would support you? What do you think will make this situation better for you? So instead of you telling people what to do, the listener explores the situation with the person because we all know what to do at one level, but and some of us were not lucky enough to have been heard and seen as in childhood and to have given those tools to have the confidence to know, I know what to do. Right? So,
yes.
Does that make sense?
I'm reaching out to another book that you told me to read way back, and I think that gives the same point. The book is How to Talk to Kids So Kids Will Listen, and How to Listen So Kids Will Talk.
Exactly.
And that book makes a point right in the beginning. I remember that line. Let me see, I marked that line. It said, kids feel right, kids behave right when they feel right. And they feel right when their emotions are heard.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it gives me to make them feel heard is give their feeling a word,
Exactly.
listen with full attention, acknowledge it by, okay, yes, I see, things like that.
Exactly.
And not give an advice. That's a big one. I don't know if you've been to India, right? Everyone is so much about giving advice. Advice and advice. You tell a problem and someone gives a solution right there.
Right.
And now I wonder why it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because it's not your solution.
Yeah.
And if you teach a child, because all of us know what to do right, and children know what's right better than us because they haven't been uneducated yet. But if we could help our children in that way by naming the feelings that they have, because if you don't know how you're feeling, you're very you grow up like me, very confused. I don't know what's love, I don't know what's anger, I don't know what I'm feeling. Why am I feeling like I want to kill somebody, right? Am I a bad person? Am I crazy? What's going on? Because we never had, that opportunity to be not in school or in the family.
It's like sort of, when we are child, something is happening in me, and that thing doesn't make sense until someone tells me, oh, this is what it is, and now it starts making sense.
Then we got the importance of listening.
Yeah. So if I'm feeling angry, something is happening in me, I don't know what is happening, but something is happening, I'm sensing it, and then my mom tells me, oh, you seem like very angry. And then, yes, I feel like, yes. Now it has
thank you, Mom. You know me now. Now I trust my mom. Yes, I'm very angry. And then she can say, oh, you are very angry because I don't let you go to the movies. Yeah, that's right. I'm very angry because you don't let me go to the movies.
So that's like an undercurrent of conversations which we sometimes don't have. And we have the conversation about you should go to movie or not go to movie. It's time to go to the bed. Go ahead, do this. We are having conversation at that level.
We're having that conversation about behavior. And we're not having a conversation about what motivates the behavior.
Right.
Which is even more important.
Right.
Because then the kid will behave like the parents say, but the undercurrent of feeling will be there and will explode one day.
Yeah.
And maybe commit suicide because nobody's listening to me and I don't understand and I'm not understood by anybody.
Right. So there are multiple wrong ways. Yeah? Can you use the word wrong? Yeah.
Oh, why not?
Wrong way of responding to it, and I remember that. You can deny the feelings. You can say, why are you feeling angry? Why are you? As if it's a wrong thing to feel angry.
Yeah.
And why are you feeling angry? Right?
You shouldn't feel angry. It's not proper to feel angry at the table. When we are at the table, we are not angry.
Right.
And so what do you do? I mean, I've heard those things in my life.
Yes. Yeah. Or you can respond it in a like a sage saying, life is like that. One should accept, and one should not feel like this. Right?
Oh, that's also, you shouldn't feel like that. It's not appropriate. And so what does that tell the other person? I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm not being understood. So that person on top of it, and that person was me for a long time in my life, what I'm feeling is not okay. Therefore, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And if you're not okay, you have that sense of frustration every day. You go to work feeling, I don't know, I'm not okay.
So that okay feeling is through someone listening to you. That's where we get the okay feeling.
Say that again.
okay feeling within us comes when someone listens to us. When
Exactly.
we start feeling okay.
I'm okay. I'm an
The
okay
situation
person.
doesn't change, so that
No.
is there.
The situation can be whatever, but you feel I am okay. I'm okay even if I'm wrong. I'm okay even if I don't do things perfect. I'm an okay person.
Right.
And if I do something wrong, I know how to correct it, but I'm not a bad person. There is a difference between feeling you're a bad person and feeling you've done something wrong.
Okay.
You can correct a mistake feeling I am an okay person that's correcting a mistake. Or you can be in a shame point. I am a bad person and I make mistakes and I feel terrible about myself. That's the consequence of not being listened to for a long time.
Very good. Very good. I see some people on the chat, on the live videos. If anyone has any questions, go ahead, type it in here. Okay. So now this thing about listening, this goes on for sure. It's very powerful with children. We got to do the same thing with our partners, friends, boss, parents. Every relationship, is it?
Well, you need to do first. You need to do it to yourself, and the best thing to do if you don't is to have somebody listen to you perfectly well. If you are lucky enough to have that, and if not, go find one person. It's very transformative. It will change you from I feel horrible about me to I'm okay. I was transformed by the listening of my many teachers. I have to give credit to Susie Tucker and Mary Abrams, who sit with me with interest and joy. With that kind of quality, I'm so interested in you, and it's a joy to be here. Can you imagine? And can you imagine you when you talk to somebody have such an approving face instead of a disapproving face or punishing face?
Right.
So.
And how do you do?
How do you do that?
First thing you said is we got to do with ourselves. That was very interesting to me.
The way I did it, because I was so shame-based in my childhood, I remember the first time I went to therapy, and I had somebody actually sitting there for 45 minutes, listening to me, and understanding what I was saying. That was like, wow. Like this was a miracle. Okay. And I understood why people stick with therapy for years. Because it's not like they fix your problem, it's like you have somebody listening to you. Because nobody else can so much. Does that make sense? And the listening becomes more and more profound as you develop. It's listening with your soul, with your body, with your mind. And so how do you do that? Find somebody who actually has those qualities and spend some time. And then you kind of find yourself. and you find that approval and that need that you had from childhood kind of gets met in as you are an adult, and the repair is done much of the way.
Pallavi is typed a question, and she's saying, is there a difference between being heard and being understood?
Yes. I can hear somebody, but I may not understand them.
And does that help the other person if you're hearing it and not understanding them?
It doesn't help. I mean, if I don't have, for me in particular, I mean, I can hear Donald Trump, and I must say I still don't understand them. Huh? Right? I don't feel intimate with him, or I don't feel like I understood him, right? So I could hear, but the level of understanding that I wish to have is not there. So for me, if somebody hears me and then doesn't respond about anything, I don't feel understood. I don't know.
Right.
Hmm?
Right.
I need either a nonverbal cue like a smile or a tear, or because sometimes you don't have to talk, or a hand on my hand. I need a response that I am accepted and understood on an emotional level. Not just like I heard you like a machine.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you don't know what happened to the hearing.
So it becomes, the effect of this comes up only when we feel we are being understood.
At least for me, that's my experience.
And even if someone makes an attempt to understand, that itself is...
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, even if...
Because, and I have cases that I have not totally understood a person, but just to say to them, with all my heart, I don't know if I can totally understand your experience. That's already a big connection.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I may not, but I can understand at least part of it,
Right, right. So that's really, when we say everyone, everyone looks for a friend, everyone looks for a companion, everyone looks for a partner, everyone wants someone to share their life with, that impulse is there in all of us.
Well, because
that's really happening. We are looking for that person.
We are looking because that's an essential need that we have. Yeah. We need to belong, and we need to feel good in this body. We need to feel one of the two affects is interest and joy. So we need to feel good as we walk in life, or as we live our life. We need to feel good. And so to be heard and to be understood gives us a sense of good belonging either in the family, at work, in whatever circle we are, right? So so that's very important on the human part. And also I think since we are both like in the spiritual kind of community, seems to me that listening to somebody it's preaching. Listening to somebody in that way is a gift of love. And that's very rewarding in itself as a gift that we can give to another human being.
Yeah. So how do they, going back to what you said about suicide prevention hotline, why do they say do not try to save another person? What would happen if you
Because okay, I think there. I mean, I talk as if I know something, but I'm just saying what I know. One part of our brain, the reptilian brain, doesn't like commands. So if I were to tell, suppose you really want to jump out of your window on the 15th floor, and I say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Your part of your brain will get angry and jump out the window just because I'm pushing you.
Wow, okay, interesting.
And that's why orders don't work. So people who understand listening always, like my teacher Mary Abrams will always say, I'm inviting you to sit in a circle. She never say, please sit in a circle. Because the normal part of your brain will say, no, I don't want to. Hmm?
Yeah.
So that's one area that, the person wants to commit suicide, and if you can have interest, oh, so you want to kill yourself, tell me more. I wonder why. That's much more interesting, right?
And that person thinks, oh my God, someone is interested in me, someone is wanting to know why I feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very different invitation. And there is another layer. First of all, it's your agenda. You put in your agenda when you give advice about the person's needs, and you want to overpower the other person with your advice, as if you know something.
Right.
So that, for a person that's already in a ready to kill themselves, must be a turnoff. Oh, another one of those, right?
Yeah.
That wants to tell me what to do. That's why I'm jumping.
Okay, good. Anything else from anyone else? Before we sign off, 10:45 already. Or you can type in later on, and then we can continue these questions later on. Well, we had a comment. Hearing this from a teenager, I feel sometimes challenged to understand him to his expectation. I know she has a son, teenager. I think he's teenager already. Yeah.
Well. Mm-hmm.
So, listening and understanding a teenager, all that can be tough.
Can be tough, but you get to focus on him. I'm interested in you. There is also the same book I gave you. There is one for teenagers.
Okay.
Listening to your teenagers. Because the listening part is the best you could do.
But there is, that's where we get into that you have to fully accept the other person.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Yep.
And that's where we have so much challenge. How do you fully accept, there is a bunch of nasty stuff going on all around, and my son comes and says, whatever, I feel like this, I feel like that. I said, shut it off. this is not
Like
what we are.
for
That.
example, let me understand what you're saying.
So,
So one thing is listening to somebody, and another thing is boundaries, discipline, saying no, understand, right?
right.
Like I was in the school system, and one kid set fire to the cafeteria, right? Or they wanted to suspend them and that. And I sat with him and said, "All right, you're going to be suspended, but I'm interested in what motivates you to do that. What's happening with you?"
And did he open up or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a terrible life, right? So you could punish, but and I said, well, you understand that they cannot, it's not like you are a bad person, but we are interested in the school, and your parents are interested in what motivates you and whether you want to keep on doing that or you want to do it differently next time. So as a parent, the same thing. There are certain things that are behaviors that you want.
Like my son is 3-year-old.
Ooh.
As soon as he gets my phone, he knows how to go to YouTube and watch his train video and car videos and everything.
That's a smart boy.
And then,
How do we learn this at 3? How amazing.
I don't know how he learned it. I don't know how he learned it. It's still a surprise for me. But
Imagine what they know that you don't even know they know.
so now what I am trying to do is, I am trying to just keep my phone away, just not bring it in home. I come from work, keep the phone in car. But there are times when he gets to it, and when he gets to it, it's like a magnet. He and the phone gets connected, and he can't do anything else, and he can spend hours watching there. At some point, I have to disconnect this magnet, right? It can't
Of course.
go on.
Listen, my daughter has 2 boys, and she has a rule. Tristan and Maite, no technology during the week homework. They don't like it. But one thing doesn't have to. But they will follow the rules if, on the other hand, they're being understood. If it's not punishment, you are a bad boy. You're not going to look at the phone. But there is my dear, I understand you love the phone, and you could be glued to it all the time, but I'm your dad, and technology 24 hours is no good. So this is the rule. You could have it for 15 minutes, and then we go play.
Yeah, I can't have, 3-year-old can't have this conversation, right? It's all more.
He will pick up your energy. He will pick up whether you're angry or you are relatable. If you're relating to him, if you see him, if you take the phone away while you're hugging him, it's different than if you're pushing him away or hitting him. He knows. The kids are tuned in to your affect system. You're tuning to somebody else's affect system. We're all tuned in to what other people feel. But that's why you're there as a parent, because the 3-year-old needs limits. Hmm?
Yeah.
And so you are his nervous system. But you could do it with firmness, and you could do it with connection. With connection with him, and reflecting that he's a good boy. Hmm?
Yeah.
That's very different. he will take your instructions later much better if that's the case from the beginning.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we had a very nice conversation.
Yes, a beautiful conversation. We'll continue. I think this topic will attract many people. Might have more questions. I have a teenager daughter, or teenager sons. You know, I know it can be much more difficult with teenager boys. So we'll see. We will talk about these topics.
Okay, my dear, thank you so much for inviting me into your wonderful Facebook page and my setting up my Facebook page.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Haribol.